Okay, we're live. Hey guys. So yeah, tonight just kind of an impromptu little session. I'm just kind of excited to play around with this new tool I've made, VHAIM tools. Been working on it most of the week, and just kind of all kind of came together today. And I went, oh, it's pretty much working out. And next stage is the fun bit, testing it out and just trying it on different rigs and seeing can I break it, seeing can I find other things to add to it. Just how is the workflow working for me? Can I improve on it? All that kind of stuff. So yeah, the basic functions are all there. You can see my this is the script here that I'm working on the code editor. We've got 490 lines of code, a bunch of comments, and the last thing I just added in there was adding an order filter process into it, so that when you use it, when you bake things onto the controls, automatically auto filters them, so you don't have to worry about doing that. Because that often when you're constraining one thing to another and then baking it, you'll end up with gimbal. So having the auto filter built in just saves you having your time. So I'm going to try that on this little walk cycle I've been working on for a while. This is another Keil Figgins rig. You can probably tell I'm a fan of his rigs, that they're great, really. And this one is very different to the one I was working with yesterday. This is, a big robot, and I'm trying to make him feel big. I'm trying to make him feel like he's, I don't know, 30, 50 feet tall. I'm trying to go for a slower, more ponderous, kind of heavy walk than I've done with, like he's like a huge, big mountain of a thing walking by. And I'm working in Maya 2019 again today. I haven't been scared off by those crashes yesterday. One thing I've tried is I remember trying this on the beta version. What that seemed to help on this computer was I switched the preferences. The preferences for our, if you open preferences, they are over here on the settings, cached playback. You've got by default, I think it's set to use 50% of your RAM and then stop at that point. I've got 64 gigs on this computer, so I don't really need to worry about that. Like it's, my programs aren't going to use that much. So I set it to use 75%, which is, meaning 48 gigs, which is, should be plenty for most purposes. And then by default, I think it's set to viewport hardware cache, which kind of emphasizes using your graphics card. Which I've got a decent graphics card, but it's also a bit of a thing with drivers and graphics cards and your operating system. You never quite know when things are working with that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to evaluation cache, which I believe is a little bit slower to calculate and to kind of update when you change things. But I remember on the beta version, it seemed to be a little bit more stable on this computer. So I'm going to try that tonight and see if I get those crashes. And just see how the workflow is in general. I can always toggle it off if it's kind of becoming a pain, and just use Maya as it normally works. But yeah, at the moment I've got a cache. You can see the blue line filled up there. I've got a cache, and I'm walking off the spot there, and it's playing back at 24 frames a second, no problem. And the walk cycle is pretty slow, like in terms of speed. So layer for that geometry. Put that up there. And just see. Just so I keep selecting it. There we go. I must have another layer for some. Oh no, it's what I was doing yesterday. And so it's lovely and responsive, and it is a relatively heavy rig. This one definitely heavier than the one I was working with yesterday. I'm going to hide some of the geometry though, not so much for speed, but just for kind of a simpler silhouette, just while I'm animating. I made a layer for this rig a while back called Details Geo. So if I turn that off, I actually kind of like him. He's got a little bit of a sort of cleaner shape, a little bit more cartoony. I kind of aiming this to be quite a cartoony sort of feel. So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make this back into a walk in place. I'm using the very same method I used in my video yesterday, translating this off the spot. There's just one key on the global control there, and it's just cycling off into infinity. I show the graph editor. It's just literally one key, and it just keeps going. So I'm gonna mute that to translate. See, and now we've turned it into a walk on the spot. And now I don't need to see all those extra frames I had, because the cycle isn't that long. Well, it's pretty long. It's 65 frames, which is Like yesterday, I think my cycle was 17 frames, including the loop frame. So yeah, it's a lot slower than yesterday's cycle. But that's where I want it to feel big. If I speed it up, actually just to show you, let's show you the speed of this thing. If I play every frame free, see how fast I can play it back. Yeah, 99 frames a second, 100 frames. And this is by no means a light rig. And I'm stream capturing at 60 frames a second, so I think that's pretty cool. I kind of like the speed like that actually as well. It kind of looks fun. It's a bit more cartoony. But for now, I'm going to keep it at when I have this. Put the playback speed back to real time, so I see what I've actually animated. So I'm going to kind of work with the new tool. I'm going to sort of try and work out. I'm going to start with the chest. I'm pretty happy with the hips and the upper body like this. It's a very similar control layout to the other rig, apart from the extra controls for various parts. But it's actually very that's one thing I like about this rig and the Deadpool rig and the other ones. They're all using the same template basically. So yeah, so there's this main control here that affects its body up and down, and then there's like the pelvis control. It just moves on, and then there's the chest control. And this chest control it's got some rotation on it, but I feel it could be a little bit nicer, a little bit maybe more offset from the hips. Not so much translation based. Like I feel it's stretching there and then squashing there. I'm happy enough with the translation of it. But I feel maybe the rotation could be a bit nicer. So this is where I'm gonna start trying to use my tool on. So I'm going to run it there. And basically, what I'm going to do is going to select the chest controller on the first frame. I'm going to switch to my object translation to local rather than world, because when I create name locator and then just pull it out in local, so it means I'm just putting it along one axis, so it's kind of staying in line with the chest. If I switch off to world, I might end up bringing it like somewhere else. So I'm going to maybe say at there is kind of far enough, and then I'm just going to attach. I'm going to use it. Where I've set this tool up is you kind of use each button in turn. So I'm just going to attach locator to control. So what that's going to do is it's just going to bake through, and now it's put keys on this locator on the same frames as the keys on the control that you're attaching to. There's also another option here. You can disable this keys only option, excuse me, and then it'll bake the animation on every frame. And sometimes you might want that, particularly if you're getting some weird gimbal stuff or if you're doing something really intricate. But in this case, I want to keep it kind of simple to begin with. So I can always add more keys later. But so I'm going to just keep it at that. It's just only going on the existing keys. The other thing that I tried to do with this tool is just make it a little bit different to the typical constraint workflow. Normally, when you want to constrain something to something else, you have to select the target, then select the thing you're going to constrain, and then run the constraint command. In this, I'm trying to set it up so that it kind of intelligently works out what you want to do. All you have to do at any point is just select the locator, and then just run the tool, and it'll figure out what control. It basically actually uses message attributes, which are kind of a dirty thing in my. You can see there, if I select this locator, I've got this extra attribute down here called control, and that is the control chest, which is this object here, control chest. So it's kind of like this locator has a built-in connection to this chest controller that's kind of invisible to the animator, but it means that it's nice and robust. You don't have to worry about the naming convention and that kind of stuff. Sometimes scripts can get a bit broken because of that kind of stuff, but this is a direct connection, so it's just a nice clean way to do it. So what I'm going to do now is just aim the control at the locator, because I've already got the animation on it. It's doing, following the same keys as the chest, rotation wise at least. So now I'm going to aim the control to the locator, and that's it. It gives me information down here, aim set up successfully on the control chest, and that's it. Like basically now I've got, doesn't look any different at first, but I've now got the chest. Its translation is still driven by the animation keys, but its rotation is now driven by this locator. And you can see, if you ever look at it there actually for a second as well, there's one other thing I tried to add as sort of a visual guide for the twist axis. As well as moving this locator around, that's controlling its chest now. You can also rotate it on this axis. You can see there's an extra locator here. You can't move or do anything with this one. It's just a visual thing. But it means that it's just to give you an idea of like if you rotate the locator, you can twist them this way. So as well as having the kind of up and down and back and forward, you have the kind of banking. I think the gorilla there doing that. So it just gives you a nice clear indication of what axis you're using. You know, it doesn't follow the other rotations because it's an aim control. It's aiming at this, but that control up here is the up vector. So some dry rigging terminology, but basically now that I have this located there, I can sort of play around with things. I'm going to hit save incremental here as well, just in case I get a crash, because as I say, I'm still not fully trusting of the new Maya. Who knows when things are going to go south, but it's been pretty good so far. So now I can kind of play around with this. One thing I'm going to do actually, which is really nice, this is the thing Richard Lico demonstrated when he was talking about this kind of workflow. Excuse me, was putting a motion trail on the locator. You know, if you put a motion trail on something that's just rotating, you don't really get much information from it. You just see, you know, you might see the locator or the motion trail just moving around a bit. But because now I kind of turned the rotation into translation, you can actually see a lot more when I apply the motion trail. You see I'm getting this kind of bow tie effect, which is kind of what you want usually. Like a lot of times in rotations, you want a nice sort of figure eight kind of shape. But now I can sort of polish this. Now I can sort of make it this a nicer looking figure bow tie or a nicer figure eight. But like so, I'm looking at it there, and I'm kind of looking at it there. So maybe I can pull it up a little bit here, and then something like that. Let's look at this one. I'm just going to basically make this curve a little bit prettier using this locator. And kind of gives you sort of different ways to polish. I'm going to have a little bit more overshoot there, make this a bit more organic looking. Again here, whoops, I didn't want to add. You can add more keys, of course, but I'm going to try and stick to the keys that are there. And again, I'm going to overshoot that a little bit. You can see it's a very different workflow to just polishing in the graph editor. It gives you sort of a different perspective on your shot. I'm going to favor back previous pose there. As well, that nicer sort of, and then have it swing through here. I don't want it to be totally even. It's going to feel a bit boring. I like the curved shape up there, it's not too bad. I might put another key here just to kind of bring it into that, make it a little bit nice shape. Save it back again. I might actually delete this one. Yeah, let's let that a bit nicer. There. This here. Like that. I'm kind of favoring back all the time to where it came from and having it shoot through quickly. I feel like I like that key. I don't see enough. I might put another key here. I think just kind of keep it nice and round. But it's really gives you nice control over the arcs. That. Let's see how that feels now in motion. Yeah, I'm liking that a bit better. But that's a bit. And funny with this now is it's quite easy to exaggerate this, and because I'm only using a locator, you know, if I delete this locator, we're back to what's on the control anyway. So I'm not kind of working in a very destructive way here. It's almost like using animation layers. You can kind of play around with stuff. What if I bring this one? Maybe just drop down quite quickly. Here, maybe a bit more drastic. And I might key here. Right here, actually, get rid of this one. And I think I've gotten a crash. Oh no. Yeah, this is the thing with the caching as well. Every time I delete something, hey, how you doing? Um, every time I delete something like that, it's changing, a lot of things under the dependency graph. So unfortunately, I probably will get crashes more often doing things like that. So I'll try it again. I'll try it without the caching on while I'm working, maybe. Was, but as I say, I haven't broken the animation at all. I've just uh, saved it pretty recently. I definitely got the aim control set up anyway. Yeah. So I'm going to turn off caching altogether. I'm not getting a terrible playback with this rig anyway. I'm pretty much getting 24 frames with all the gear hidden. If I turn that gear back on, it tends to kill it. Okay, so let's go again. Let's see how to get on without the caching enabled this time. I'm going to do that pretty. It's pretty easy to remember where I was. So basically, I'm just going to favor everything back, and I'm going to kind of just ease out of those extreme positions. I'm going to get rid of some of these keys as I go along, maybe like this one. I can play around, like I can kind of favor back this way, but drop down that way and have them up here a little bit more. That key, that favor up here. We have more of a swing. Yeah, I like that actually. Because it drops down and the chest kind of staying up there like that. Does it better. And then maybe dropping down here. Once it starts dropping, I want it to be fairly fast, so I don't want it to slow in there. Maybe drop down here. So I'm really just playing around with this to see what might feel better. Get rid of that key as well. Swing through a bit here. Swing through more here. And then again, because I want to round off the shape, I might put another key in here. There's a lot of keys in this area over here. That key. That's saving. Probably see me do that. Crashes out. The other thing is that these rigs, like they're great rigs, but they were built in I think Maya 2015 or 16. I think a lot of riggers do that actually. I do it as well, depending on the job. I rig in a fairly old version of Maya so that anybody on the team can use it if they're still in an old version. And it also means it's usually easy enough to go forward a version. Sometimes it can be hard to go back because of different nodes, whatever can be in a new version that aren't in old versions, and I have to just keep giving errors when you load it. I tend to kind of turn on the caution on the side of working on an old version of Maya, and then for rigging. But I try and use the latest one for animation most of the time because it's usually the best one, generally speaking. It sometimes be the most crashy one, but I'm liking that. I feel like I might even drop them down more. Let's see right here. Have them tilt forward more there. Like you can really keep that down there. Maybe the same on this side, how it comes down. It's a really fun workflow, I have to say. Like it's quite a new workflow to me. I haven't, been using this sort of method for a while. It's really based on those Richard Leco kind of videos that I was kind of like, yeah, this could be a cool way of animating rotation because it's just a little bit more intuitive in some ways, than trying to look at something in the graph editor. You can kind of see where your drag is happening quite well. The other thing you can do is like make fairly easy global changes. If I take the whole as a Y curve and just bring it down, I can affect how much she's leaning forward. Just try playing around with that a little bit. From the side. I bring it up a little bit, but I kind of like that change in general. A bit. I can even do things like just polish the curve maybe here a little bit, just to kind of smooth things out a little bit here and there. Take that one. That one. I'm going to use my little tangent tool there for hopefully that won't cause a crash. Oh, I think it has. No, just slow things down a little bit. That's probably because the motion trail still on there. But now you see I've got nice looped tangents and a nice and clean. Sometimes that's not too bad. Yeah, I'm liking that. And let's do one more little curve thing in the graph editor. Maybe just look at the X, translate X as well. Maybe the same kind of thing here. Maybe just actually I'm going to delete the motion trail. Safety. It's going to speed things up a little as well. So I'm going to just clean this curve. Like, see that there? That's not doing anything either. Same thing here. Those maybe even, yeah. I just want to get a nice shape. Like anytime, like I generally find I need where I need keys is where things are changing direction. But when things are just flowing from one pose to another, I try and take out some of the keys because they're just adding noise at that point. Ooh, look at this. That's kind of cool. I might take those out. That's a pretty weird looking curve. Let's see if I just clean this out. Thing is, the translate Z isn't having that much effect on it because it's it's aiming at it. Getting a curve. But moving forward and back in space a little bit isn't having effect. Yeah, it's not bad. So now I'm going to select this controller and go back to my aim tools. Save incremental again, just in case. I'm going to select the locator and just bake from the aim locator. And now it just goes through and it just bakes whatever was on that key. Did I ask if you use animation layers like taking a walk, so it will make more interesting trying out new machine process? Yeah, I know I love animation layers. Yeah, I didn't used to use them a lot, but on one of the creature courses, the creature course I did, our mentor Marco Folia, he used them a lot, and he really showed me how great they can be. Yeah, no, for all sorts of things. Even another great trick is if you've got two shots, and you've got your pose on the end of your shot isn't quite the same as a pose on the next shot. That somebody else, another animator, has done. What I've done before is take their shot, copy their pose, and then just put it on an animation layer on the last frame and just blend into it. And it's just really smooth way. If you keep all the animation you've got, but it just makes the last frame match up to their first frame. Just gets the transition period between the shots perfect without having to do a lot of work. It's a really animation layers are really powerful. Actually, they're the business for all sorts of things. So I can see a few little issues now in the rotation because what I ended up doing was deleting some of the keys on the locator that weren't on the chest now. So I wonder why I undo that. Go back a step. I undo that. What I might do is actually delete rotation keys and then try baking it. See if that looks a little bit cleaner. Again, I'm just figuring out this workflow, so no, that did not work at all. So let's look at that again and double check that my script is actually looking at the right keys. This is why we test stuff, How they get several animators and it's in character the same way in movies. Well, often there'll be the director or the head of animation will be kind of looking at everybody's shots and trying to make them consistent. They won't be completely consistent though. And excuse me, and reusing some canned stuff. I mean, it's not all one animator doing all shots of Woody. No, of course not. No, but they will, depending on the movie. Sometimes people will become the lead on a particular character, and they'll be kind of the ones that set the style for that character. But if you watch, if you become sensitive enough to it, you'll notice that you'll see different people animation. It's a hard thing to know with CG compared to 2D. You can kind of see and a bit more, but it's definitely something that you'll see. well if you look close enough. So yeah, I'm just playing around with this workflow here, and I'm just realizing that maybe my script isn't looking at the correct thing when it's breaking back. Maybe it's still looking at existing keys on the controller. So I might need to go and bug fix that. But what I can do is, let's just look at the keys that I moved. If I remove that key, bad. So I got there, there. I'm just doing this by hand here, kind of matching where the keys are. This will be something I don't want to have to do in the final version of the script. But it's no harm. It's good that I checked. I noticed it now. Here, there. I have to go. I've got a key at 27, and 29, 32, 5, 7, 9, 32, 40, 42, 5, 5, 9, yeah, 49, 50, 4. So I've actually added keys to this all over the place. I'm getting rid of a few. 60. Oh no, sorry. Yeah, 62. So this is the script of the perfect. I feel like. So let's just try that again. Big line, bigger. Now we should have. No, still not getting the rotation. That's funny. I'm gonna actually see what I do. I might try restarting again, or reverting to the file. I think I saved it. So yeah, as I said, this is live testing, so you might see stuff going a bit wrong. So at the moment, let me just double check what. Yeah, this is definitely controlling that. So big phone, okay. Yeah, now I've got it. Now I've got some of my noise back in there again, but I can fix that pretty quick. It's these keys there. I'll just go in and fix the graph editor pretty quick. So like there. It's obviously one. Maybe this bit here. I'm gonna take the keys out and just smooth it out of it. One, maybe that one. Y. Should we think of it again? There, no, probably not that one. Probably this one. This one. I don't feel like I need that one. It's too probably. We'll do that one. And then key. Oh, got an extra key there. Should be the same as that. Oh no, one extra there. Don't need that one for sure. Yeah, I'm just cleaning up a little bit. And yeah, actually no, keep that one. And then my little, oops, it's just cleans that tangents up a bit. So let's have a look at that. And we shouldn't have. Yeah, I like it pretty much. Apart from this bit here, it kind of comes a little bit too hard. So rotate X and look at that curve. You can see, need to push that a little more. So I'm going back here between two modes. One is tool developer and the other is animator. You know, the tool developer means kind of like I want to do everything with my tool. The animator with me is just like, yeah, just fix it. You know, just go into the graph editor and sort it out. So I like this drop here. Maybe a little bit sudden. Slow it down just a little bit. If I do this. And then I feel like here it's kind of missing. So maybe I feel like I need to push down a little bit. So I'm gonna say that that's okay for the chest. Now I'm gonna try the same thing on the head because I haven't really done anything with the head yet. Um, just a few keys, actually translation keys. So yeah, very little happening with the head there. So again, I'm just going to create an aim locator, put it out, and then attach locator to control, and then I'm aim control. And now I've got basically this controlling the head. That's right. That's right. Already, I kind of like it even without any animation on it because it's kind of he's like he's single-mindedly staring at that. But I want it to kind of overlap and drag a little bit, like as you actually see it coming down there. I'd like to put an extra key on it so that I pull the head up a little bit. And then as it comes down here, I'm going to keep it up as well. And then as he hits the bottom there, I'm going to pop into that. A little bit fast, but for now. Forward a little bit. I'm kind of just looking at it in one axis at a time. And coming up. At this point, as he drops quickly, that's where I want the drag to happen. He's back up. There we go. That's happening. There. Stay and go down. Yeah, I'm kind of exaggerating this. It's kind of easier to see it exaggerating sometimes. And I might do a little bit on this neck as well. Nice. The other thing that I want to look at is it side to side. So as he moves forward, I'm going to do the same thing again actually and put a motion trail on that locator. You can see as he pulls over to here, it's kind of coming right over with it. I'd rather it stay back a little bit. And down here. So we feel his head kind of tilting back there. You can push it over. Over here, so jump. And then kind of drag. Again, I'm kind of like looking at the shape of this to make it a slightly nicer sort of figure eight. And here, I definitely want him to tilt his head a little bit as well, this angle. Add a little bit of rotation in there as well. Keep that rotation. I'm kind of playing around. I'm really looking at the shape of the motion trail. I want to kind of swing out more there, more there. And then here again, I still want it to be still tilted back a little bit. And then swing through here. Here a little bit. Again, I say I'm really exaggerating this. It might be way too much, but it's fun to push it far first and then pull back. Over here. And I actually like maybe a little bit of tilt in the first frame, just to stop it being too kind of default. One thing I notice sometimes about the layered workflow when you start building something from the inside out, you kind of start from the base pose, so it can be quite easy to end up with a pose that feels a little bit stiff if you haven't touched every controller by the end of it. So just try and break things off axis, and just try and lose symmetry. Like symmetry is appealing in art, but too much of it, especially in computers and stuff, just gives that fake kind of feel to it. You know, I want this guy to feel like a machine, but something that you know, Transformers-y or whatever. He's kind of like he's been beaten up a bit, and his gears are worn. He's not totally like maybe he's not a brand new shiny robot. You can tell that by even by the textures on him. He's kind of like seen a bit of battle damage, and he's not totally pristine. Yeah, I feel like I like that. I'm gonna say the motion trail. I've got a little shortcut hotkeys and stuff down here for this. Yeah, I'm feeling that's not too bad. Yeah, it might be a bit big, but one thing I feel like I like a little bit more drag in the Z axis there. There. Yeah, I'm actually liking it more here. So, and when it comes through, like it's a bit more maybe just for a second. Up, just kind of. If you watch people walk actually in slow motion, it's not see it in music videos or whatever. There is quite a lot of side to side wobbling our heads too. What did you human or think wrong? I don't know if it's about thinking wrong. It's an artistic choice. I think that's really there's no right or wrong about this. Like I'm deciding that I want them to feel quite loose and bouncy because I think it's more fun, it's more interesting to look at. I'm not totally worried about whether this is realistic or not because I've never seen a robot like this, so I don't think realism is a problem really. I think we're suspending disbelief looking at this, So I feel like why not have fun with that? I went to a play last night actually. It's really funny when you go to a play and you kind of look at how artificial everything is at the beginning. It's obvious like it's artificial, like the set and the lighting, everything just feels really stagey, for want of a better word, because it is. But but what's really cool is the audience just goes okay and just buys into it and just says, yeah, this is a play and these are actors and this is a story that's happening on stage, but it's still real. We're still gonna buy into it, and I think that's a thing with any entertainment medium. You sort of want to have that. I really want to start animating his neck. That's the other thing. I really feel like his neck needs a bit of this stuff as well. I'm gonna have to look. Uh, I'm gonna try something dangerous. I'm gonna try adding another locator setup to his neck while I have that one there. Again, I'm just trying to push the system and see where it breaks. I already know that there's a little issue with breaking back from the locator to the controller. It doesn't seem to be counting the keys correctly. I think it's looking at the wrong object. That's a very easy fix. But I'd like to have two of them because I'd like his neck. I don't think his neck is really. It's obviously not affecting his head here, but I think there is neck mount. Um, twist. Some of this might be taken over by the neck mount. This top. None of this seems to do much. Maybe this neck control down here. There we go. That's what I'm actually looking for. I'd like to feel his head actually pulling side to side, not just tilting on its own kind of axis, behind his where the head joins the base of the skull, but actually from the neck as well. Because it's a very big head. So I'm going to try and I'm just going to put some keys on this just so I've got something to react to. 8, 24. I'm just going to go through every 8 frames or something, just so I've got something to attach the locator to. I'm going to say mental again, and now I'm going to create a name locator for that object. The neck. I'm going to pull it forward a bit more. Oops, I got a hold there. I need to pull it forward in its own axis so it kind of stays in line. So the axis is clearly pointing back at it. And then I attach the locator to the control, keys only. So now I've got the same keys that I had on the neck control on this neck control, and now on the locator. But that's not controlling the neck yet. I just need to press the next button. Just aim the control at the locator. So now it is. So now I can start playing around with this. And it's going to be on the direction changes. It's going to be on like right here even. Maybe pull this back a little bit. Again, I can use the rotate on that as well as translate. Maybe a little bit of orange, just pull it back. I can get rid of the and here put over get it out. Maybe not close. Here the translate doesn't have that much effect on this control. I guess it's not the head doesn't follow with it. It's only really the rotate Z. So technically I could just do this with rotation, but hey, I'm trying to workflow for having 2 locators in the scene at the same time and baking the back and seeing if that all works or if it breaks. Yeah, I'm liking that a bit more. It's just feeling a bit more organic. Yeah. He's got quite a wobbly head now, but I like it. Again, I can pull this back later on. So now I'm gonna bake its neck first, and this time I'm gonna turn off this and just that means it'll bake all the keys on the neck controller. Then it'll delete that locator. So now I've got keys on everything, which on the neck control, which doesn't bother me personally. Again, if you watch Richard Rico's demos, he does that all the time. That doesn't seem to bother him either. It's I know some animators, maybe for an acting shot or something like that, I wouldn't maybe do this too much because it does tend to confuse you a little bit. But for a body mechanics thing or for like a walk cycle or run cycle, it's usually pretty easy to. There's actually some new tools in the latest Maya actually for cleaning up the curve. I might even give those a go. Why not? Here, rotate Z. Let's try that. Doesn't work for. Keys on frame. Preview. Kind of interesting. Don't really like what it's doing though. I don't know if I'm totally crazy about it. And I haven't used this before really that much to be honest. Let's test this super feature. So I'm going to take out the obvious one myself manually. Oh, there. Stuff. Oh, it looks like there's some gimbal on this. What's that? -178. Yeah. Yeah, my little toolbox here, I've got just +180 to those curves, so gimbal. Yeah, there's actually a gimbal all over the place. Oh, okay. The joys of 3D rotation. I might leave it on that. See, how does it look in the view? That's what I should really worry about. Yeah, for now it's okay. I'm gonna just live with it. And then I'm gonna bake the head. And again, I might do. Well, let's try. I'll try both approaches. I'll save incremental first. I'll try just baking the keys because I ideally rather do that. It should should bake those keys, but we'll see. Yeah, I feel like, yeah, it has actually. It has baked it. That's it. But I feel like I've lost some of the information, unfortunately. So I'm going to undo that. You're not going to crash. So I'm going to tie. That's another thing in my to-do list is to tie that undo command up into a single process. Undo it quickly. Before I do my final bake here, I'm kind of just pushing things. But I'm really exaggerating. I say I can put back. He feels heavy, loose. He's got his thing going on. He's heading out on a Saturday night to meet another robot or something. So yeah, now I'm going to save and come out once more, and then I'm going to get rid of the keys only option. All keys. Delete the locator, and now I've got that rotation baked in there. Yeah, now he's got some out. And I don't want to for time. It's been too long today because as I said, I definitely need to fix some of this stuff and work on the tools a bit more. But I'm going to try one more thing. Actually, one thing I'd like to look at is, let's see, where are the controllers? Details, geometry is there. But there's this little kind of, it's like a spiral or something. I think there's a controller for that. I'd like to animate that. Is cover this, those, details. Nope. Might just turn all. Oops. Turn all of these on for a second. Okay. A lot of controls here. But I'll just turn all of these on for a second. Yeah, there we go. That's the one I want. What is that? Pod main copies. Okay, cool. So I'd like to animate that, doing this sort of thing as well. And again, I might, just use the script. I know. In this case, I don't have any keys on it, so I'm going to put some, again, just like every 8. Just to have something in there to lock onto, just something to use as a basis. Okay, this is an unusually long cycle. I'm going to put in just something to start with. Here, here. No, I want it to be that sort of angle. Actually, make it better these. Just leave it in between for a second, and then just again throw on some keys. Not too fast when I'm good there. Middle mess. I don't want to do that. I'll actually just put the keys over there, and that's horrible, but at least there's a pose there now. So now I'm going to do the same thing with this and create an aim locator. And I'm going to put, in this case, I want the aim to be this down here because I want this to be the axis that things are kind of swinging in, that this is the direction that can, that baking, I'm just trying to look at this. That baking also, I think I want to use way too little, not teach you to use that way. I'm just going to baking just something you did prior to export game engine. Yeah, it is kind of a game workflow, I guess. But yeah, a lot of people, I use Bake all the time to bake animation onto one thing if it's driven by something else. Or yeah, it's something that I tend to use anyway. But again, yeah, it is probably watching people like Richard Lico got me into that sort of mindset. Definitely, I don't think everybody bakes stuff all the time. I'm just baking animation. I'm not baking onto the joints or anything like that. That's something I definitely. That's something I usually have a script for. Any of the game jobs I've worked on, I've always just written a script to the animators. Don't have to do that manually. Select load the animation file, it just spits it out a nice FBX file to them. So yeah, back to this. I'm gonna have this controller. I want this axis to be the one like putting it like that. So I'm gonna bring it down there. And that's one thing I wanted to really get right with this script, which is actually working pretty well for me so far, touch wood, is that whatever axis you put it down and it figures out the right axis for the aim constraint and the up vector. Let's see if it's going to work for me now. So I'm going to attach the locator to control. Yeah, it does. And you'll notice now if I look at the locator for this guy, vector. Oh, what do you mean up vector? That's very strange. Oh, because I haven't, sorry, I'm being very silly. I haven't the aim yet. I'm getting a little bit tired at this point. But yeah, so now you can see I've got that following the control. And now I do the stage that where it's going to set up the up vector, the aim control locator, that one. And now you'll see it's created this up vector here, which is the correct axis. So I've got the aim going down here and the up vector going up here. So again, this will control this. If I want to bank it, I can tilt this. If I want to, tilt it side to side like that. But the main thing I want to do for this pass is just focus on that, kind of swinging around. Keep it down here, and I can play around with bringing it forward and back as well. There's a little bit like that. And then maybe have it kind of pull over. Maybe even bump off this inside of his leg a little bit and then bounce back. But again, it's going to be too much, but we'll see. Yeah, I actually like that. Might be a little bit softer how it happens. Might actually happen a little bit sooner and then bounce off quicker and back again. Get rid of that key. I actually liked what I had better before. Undo. I'll refine as I go along. And then straightening up far too quick there. Up this way. And then here. I would kind of still down, because it's still, I'm trying to think about the weight. Now as you moves over here, now it's going to drive back. I suppose wind resistance as well. There will be a little bit of a pull in that. Here. And then maybe leg there. And have it come out. Feel like it's heavy, but it wouldn't actually go through his leg. Bounce off it. So part of what I'm doing really here is just kind of adding noise to it. That's a start. I feel like it's working better on the way back here than on the way down. Yeah, keep it dragging back there a bit more. Yeah, let's straighten up first. Let's swing a bit. Take out that key. It kind of feels like it hit something there, but it didn't yet. Now it's bounced there. I feel like that's too short or too framed fast. Yeah, I don't know. Easy about that. Bring it back a little bit. Let's look at the and kind of see if I stop. It's interesting. If I stop staring at this and look at the actual path of that, again, I can put a motion trail on it. You can kind of see. Let's try that actually. and kind of see where it's a wall. Keep it back there. Look, that would be hitting a wall because it's actually hitting the leg. Maybe here. I'm kind of making a bit more of a circle now. Here, like, we're gonna get a nice curve sweep through here. And then once it kind of gets its momentum, it's going to swing pretty quick. That's where it's working pretty well. And then out here again, further, and again. And it's going to kind of drag through. Dark might not say look totally pretty here because it's going to be interacting with a little bit more here as well. See what happens. Oh no, don't tell me you're going to crash, man. I'll give it a second. Sometimes motion trails take a little while to update. If this crashes, it might be me for today because it's getting a bit late to start this part of it. Hopefully, at least I've shown the workflow, and I've definitely found a few things that I want to improve on with the script. I found some things that are working great with it. So it's if you never use actual points in motion trails over the post, is that a really bad thing to do? No, it's not bad to do. I just not doing it right now, but I do sometimes. But I do it for more subtle things like cameras, maybe. But yeah, like I have the controller selected, so for me it doesn't make sense to suddenly deselect the controller and then select the handle on that and pull that around and then a different one. When I'm just animating the controller, it's just I'm not selecting and deselecting all the time. So yeah, mine is definitely locked up and crashed on me there, unfortunately. So yeah, I gotta call that for today. But as I say, hopefully that was somewhat useful. See me developing the tools a little bit, and I'll probably come back to this tomorrow or Sunday, maybe when I've worked on some more of the code and added a couple of things that I want to check in it and refine a few things, and then I'll come back maybe to this animation or to something else and do another pass. You find it very convenient to the curve shape smooth out. Yeah, absolutely. Like it's kind of like seeing the graph editor in the viewport almost. It's pretty cool. So yeah, so this was a very impromptu sort of session. I've got some more structured kind of stuff planned out where I'm going to work on short that I've been working on and kind of maybe do some animation notes on that. But today I was just really excited by the new tool I've made and just really wanted to get to try it out. And it seems to be working pretty well. Minor few little issues to look at and a few things to try out, but I'm pretty happy with it. For like, it's literally just finished it this afternoon, so I think for the V1 version, it's working pretty great. So thanks a million for stopping by. Hope to catch you guys soon. Cheers.